welcome to another episode of Garden State Adventures. I'm Andrea and
And I'm Glenn Vanbenshoten. Today we're at the 2010 International Fly Tying Symposium here in Somerset, New Jersey. The Fly Tying Symposium invites fly tyers from all over the world to give their tips and tricks to people coming into the show. Currently the show is in its 20th year under Chuck Furimsky, and a person can come in here and learn anything to tie from a bluegill
simple
fly?
bluegill fly to the most complex salmon fly.
And remember, it is here in the Garden State. And what we'll do, we'll talk to some of the tyers, we'll talk to Chuck, and give you kind of a feel of what it's like to be in the show and be a part of it. So let's hit it.
Let's hit it.
Okay, we're here with Chuck Furimsky, who again started the fly fishing show and the fly tying show. Chuck, first of all, a happy 20th year with the International Symposium. And the biggest question I also have is what really got you to think of putting all this under one roof?
Well, first I am a fly tyer. A lot of people think that I don't know how to fish or tie flies, but I do. And when I started the show, we had everything. It was called the Fly Fisher Symposium. And at the end of the day, when the show closed, the hardest thing to do was to get the people to leave that were watching the fly tyers. So we found out that that was so intense that everybody had such a great rapport with the fly tyers that we started a fly tying symposium, and we didn't build a pond, we didn't have rods and reels, we just strictly concentrated in tying and materials. And if it's not as big as the overall fishing show, but it's the favorite show for most people.
Yeah, because a lot of people do find it gives a more intimate setting for people to come in and just learn from some outrageous people, you know. I mean,
you read about these flies, you see their patterns in magazines, and now you can come right in front of the person that invented it and watch them tie it.
So now you're taking the fly fishing show also to Philly, right? To come into Philadelphia?
Yeah, we're going to the Valley Forge Convention Center March 5th and 6th. It's our first time, and I tweaked the name to the Pennsylvania Fly Fishing Show. We always call it the Fly Fishing Show, but my home is Pennsylvania, so now we have the Pennsylvania Fly Fishing Show, and a lot of fly fishing celebrities and people in the industry are from Pennsylvania. Well, no excuse for Jersey. They're welcome to come.
Well, like I said, we're from New Jersey, so we're glad also there's stuff happening here in Jersey,
we're close. We're neighbors.
Absolutely.
The Delaware, everybody's from one side and the other. They're still casting the same fish.
Absolutely. Chuck Furimsky, director of the International Fly Tying Symposium and the Fly Fishing Show. Thank you so much for taking a minute.
Thank you very much. Have a good time.
Thank you.
Here at the Fly Tying Symposium, there are also a number of different organizations here to provide education about fly tying and fly fishing. I am here with the Federation of Fly Fishers and Project Healing Waters, two very important organizations. Gentlemen, can you explain what your two organizations are about?
Well, basically the Federation of Fly Fishers is a federation of individuals and clubs that predominantly are fly fishing only, and our mantra is essentially conservation, restoration, and education through fly fishing.
Excellent.
The second part of the mantra would actually be all fish, all waters.
Sounds good.
And the Project Healing Waters is an organization that was established about 5 years ago with the help of other organizations like the Federation of Fly Fishers. And we work with disabled veterans and use the sport and the skill of fly tying and fly fishing for rehabilitation and rehab.
Now, what is the partnership between both your organizations? I know it's a unique one.
The partnership, really, at the beginning, we were supported by FFF, and they let us use their 501c3 certificate while we were getting our own and while we were incorporating. But what we are an organization that's based in 97 different areas of the country, and we use FFF and Trout Unlimited clubs to help us in our organization to train and teach disabled vets.
Excellent, excellent. So as you can see, there are a lot of important organizations here at the Fly Tying Symposium. Gentlemen?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're here with Jim Merlihan, and again, sometimes it's not about the technique, sometimes it's about the materials. And Jim, the material used is a little different from what a lot of people use it on the floor. And just tell us about it.
Well, it's a very traditional material, and that is wool. And I use wool in the stage that they call roving. And it comes, as you can see, in lots of different colors. And you can pull a little bit out from a hunk of wool there, or wool roving, and you can see that this is a nice way to construct some flies. I've got a couple of flies over here. This is a pattern that really is a traditional trout pattern, but I'm applying it to bass.
Ah, there you go.
Because you never see a bass streamer.
Yeah, that's true.
Rarely do you see a bass streamer, and also it's very light and it can be cast very easily. And
oh wow,
and
yes, that's really cool.
A lot of people think that wool will not float because it somehow or other gets waterlogged and then sinks. In reality, wool will release the water on the back cast.
Oh, okay.
So if you got a couple of times going back and forth with it, it'll practically dry out to nothing.
Wow.
And it's an underused medium.
Yeah,
It can be used for nymphs, for streamer flies, for big bass bugs.
Yeah, Jim Glenn, thank you so much for your time.
That's
Appreciate
okay,
it.
Glenn.
We're here with Marla Blair, and Marla is a fly casting instructor.
Yep, FFF casting instructor.
FFF casting instructor. She's a fly fishing guide and an author. Positive Fly Fishing. Marla, as a guide and an instructor, tell me about the services you offer.
I like taking beginners and making them come full circle their first day out, teach them the basics, line, leader, setup, how the fish feed, get them out casting, and ultimately get them out catching a fish. And if I'm guiding, it's food, all equipment, all supplies, and a full day of great time and great fishing. Even if we don't catch a lot, we have a great time.
Now, with beginners, what do you find that they have the biggest issue with when they're first starting out?
Intimidating. They're intimidated by the people around them. There should be less of that. And keeping it light. Have fun. Don't go in worrying about this, that, and the other thing. Just go out. Remember that it's supposed to be joyful. And I try to take that pain away.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, you have a book out, Positive Fly Fishing. What
Yep.
is that all about?
It is my lesson in my voice with a lot of humor, anecdotal stories. It'll take you through the entire basic format of getting into fly fishing. And it's been very successful. I get a lot of great response from it. It's an easy read. It's a 4-hour read. Even if you don't read very well, like I don't read very well, I can get through my own book in 4 hours. So it's an easy read.
Well, I did read it. It is an excellent book.
A lot of humor.
Marla, thank you so much for the time. I
It's good to
appreciate
see
it.
you.
Mwah. Good to see you.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Hi. We're here with Nancy Hopping, and Nancy is both a fly fishing instructor and a wonderful nature photographer. Nancy, you tie everything from trout flies to saltwater flies to
Yes.
bass bugs. What is your favorite fly to tie and use?
Anything with marabou. I love marabou. The fuzzier, the better. Right now, I'm tying this. Is my own creation. It's got a nice dumbbell. It's light, easy to tie. I've caught everything here from let's see, bluegills to striped bass. So
Oh,
depending
wow.
on the size that I tie it on, I can tie it real small, put it on a freshwater hook, or I can tie it real big. I also like, this is also my favorite. You didn't give me enough time to yank this puppy out. Okay, now this here, I would say this is like a pet, because I use this also for fresh water as much as I do for salt. And you can tie this a lot smaller. And again, when you have marabou, it breathes, it fluctuates, it does a little dance, no pole, but it's good.
You're a prolific, wonderful nature photographer.
Oh, you can keep on with the wonderful.
And we have one of your prints here.
This is Little Sister. She's taken in my flower bed. And And I'm currently working on a book on black bears because I have well over 40,000 photographs.
Wow.
Her brother is right here.
Oh, that's her brother with the duck?
Her brother is chewing on a rubber duck. I find that if I've given them toys, they love to play. Back.
All right, Nancy, thank you so
All right,
much.
well, Andrea, it's been fun. I'll see you later.
Absolutely.
No, we
Thank you,
didn't.
dear.
Jay Fishy Fulham on the floor. Jay, good to see you as
Good to see you,
usual.
Glenn.
You know, on the show. Now, over the years, you have done like great lectures on time with unique materials, which makes it really fun. What is the most unique material you've used? I know.
Probably
Good question.
the strangest thing that I've tied with is fake fingernails, and I use them under the fly for like little spoon flies and so on. And my buddies give me weird looks, but after I put 3 or 4 fish back and they haven't caught anything, they you got one of those foolish things, you know.
Hey, it's a means to an end.
But it was fun, and it also got a deadline behind me. You know, I mean, when I first presented it to my publisher, he looked at it and said, I don't know, and then he got some great response from people thought it was fun, and that's the key.
Right.
You know,
Keep it fun.
Well, keep it fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I still can tie traditional flies.
Right.
I mean, I grew up, you know, with the Catskill tyers and some of them. I can tie the real stuff, but my niche is other stuff.
What would you have, especially young people, which I know you love to talk to?
Oh, I like
work
the
with.
kids, work with
Yeah,
the kids.
absolutely. What advice would you give to a young tire coming to and just starting out? What would be like one thing?
Start out with the premise that it's all supposed to be fun.
Right.
If you teach that lesson first, then you can worry about starting out with a woolly bugger and doing some foam flies and doing whatever you think the kids have the aptitude for. But it's got to be fun. If you keep it in that context, you'll keep them.
Right.
In fact, I've kept some of them. I wish they'd go away. I've got one of them that won't go away. He's going to come back with his own kids. I mean, Paul and Brian, a bunch of them have been with me forever, but they're really grand kids. But I like working with the kids because you work with kids, and they learn so quick. You show them something, and 2 seconds later, they're already coming up with new innovations for it. Fishy, can I tie it this way? I make them tie the fly my way the first time because there's a progression of steps. You know, first fly does step 1 and 2, second fly does 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. You're teaching tying, not patterns. So I want them to tie the fly in order to learn a new step. So I make them do the first part of the class. They need to stay with my rules.
Right.
But then the thing is after then they'll come to me and say, well, can I make some changes? And I says, I'm the last person in the world to tell you can't be an innovative tyer. You know. So and then the thing is, I learn probably more from my kids than I do because they'll come to me and say, can I do it this way? And I'm thinking it's a heck of a lot better way than what I started out with. You know. But I've learned a lot from the kids.
Oh, absolutely. And again, I've seen even your talks and your lectures, and then before coming to the show, and your classroom is definitely always fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
And always very good with the kids. Jay Fishy Fulham, I thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Glenn.
Always
good to see you.
Absolutely.
See the two of you.
Yeah.
Take care.
We are on the floor of the Fly Tying Symposium, and I'm here with Peggy Brenner. She is the proprietor of Six Sisters Fly Box. Peggy, as someone who specializes in women's and children's tying instruction, what do you find to be the most common problem beginners will encounter?
The biggest problem I have with them is people, they have trouble with their coordination when you start. And what I do then is I just step back to an easier fly or a larger fly, increase the size of it. What I find is once you get them down, once I get past the first lesson with them, they're okay. You know, and maybe what I do is I introduce the tools a couple at a time. Like for instance, the first night they only get scissors and a bobbin. And then you bring in the other tools so they're not looking at this big kit and everything and trying to keep everything together.
What would you say are the 2 best flies a beginner should start with in practice?
I I think I do the classic, the woolly booger, and I do it with both a marabou tail and a yarn tail, and then I go to these soft tackles like this. You can do this without palmering the marabou on the hook, and you can simplify this down so anybody can do it. But this is a fly they can take in our local river where I am, and they can catch brook trout with it all day long. Excellent. And that's what you want. I mean, they've got to have a fish too, you know.
That's important.
Yes.
Great.
That's right.
Peggy, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes.
With Leslie Rixom, and she is both the incoming president of the Northeast Council of the Federation of Fly Fishers, as well as the president of the United Fly Tyers, and that is actually the oldest fly tying organization in the country. First of all, Leslie, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Why don't you explain a little bit about United Fly Tyers?
Well, United Fly Tyers was started in 1959, and it was a group of guys basically that were getting together to tie flies on a regular basis, and they decided to form a club, which became United Fly Tyers. And over the years, it's gone through different incantations over the years. At one point, it was a very large organization with about 3,000 members.
Wow!
And that mainly was because the club put out a magazine, and it was at that time the only fly tying magazine that was available. So it was, in order to get the magazine, you had to join. And the magazine was free if you joined, so hence people were joining in great droves. And really, we had an international membership. Now, with the advent of other magazines being out and some of the times changing towards internet, things like that, it's turning more back towards a local club. And we have a pretty dynamic membership. We're getting a steady stream of new members and younger folks getting into fly tying. But the goal has remained the same for United Fly Tyers, and that is simply teaching fly tying and sharing the craft with other people.
Excellent. Now, the FFF is a huge organization.
It is.
Now, what is the Northeast Council? What is it all about?
Well, the FFF is an international organization, and it's broken up into 15 councils.
Oh, okay.
And a council basically is a geographical region. And the thinking behind that was to break it down into smaller groups so that you could appeal to the more local aspects of certain areas of the country or certain countries in the world where you're going to be fishing.
Oh, okay.
And so it's an organizational issue. And I'm incoming president of the Northeast Council, which is actually 6 provinces of Canada.
Oh.
And the New England states plus New York and New Jersey.
Oh, great.
So it's one of the larger councils, pretty diverse, from the saltwater fisheries to salmon fishing in Canada. And so we have quite a large and diverse group of people.
Oh,
about
excellent.
1,000 members in our council.
Leslie, thank you very much.
Thanks, Andrea.
Okay, we're here with Greg Becker, owner and proprietor of whitewaterflies.com. Greg, could you tell us a little bit about your fly shop?
Yes, we try and stock and get original materials that you're not going to find in other shops. We try to have the best quality we can get for the money, and just have it here for the customers that are going to need it. We have a lot of customers that call in and want something specific. We're happy to do that on a personal level. We try to focus on customer service, which is fleeting in these times.
Absolutely.
But that's sort of what we're trying to do. We try to get stuff that you can't find everywhere else.
Right.
But also have some of the stuff that's obviously staples in the industry.
And obviously you're accessible by computer. Is this
Yes.
actually, besides this show, are you at other shows?
Yeah, we
around
have 5 or 6 shows that we do during the year, during the season, between Somerset here has 2 shows, including this one. We go to Marlborough, Mass for the fly fishing shows, and we have all of those.
Oh, great. Okay. If people are coming to your stand here right now, and you're just getting into fly fishing, and it's better to get the packets, or just start maybe just buying just a couple little bits of material.
Well, I would advise any new tyer not to go with the kits. Spend a little bit extra money on the tools themselves, because you're going to have those forever.
Right.
And buy the tools and materials that you're going to have for the specific flies that you need. And as you grow and as you find that you want to tie other flies, you expand your collection of materials in that sense. And you know, you buy what you need at the time. There's no need to go out and buy a kit that's going to have everything in it that you're not going to use half of.
Great. Okay, great Becker, whitewaterflies.com. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man.
All right.
We're here with another fly tyer that came across the pond. This is Chris Reeves. He came from England. And Chris, the one thing we're asking everyone who comes across from Europe and all these different faraway places is, what keeps you coming back year after year in such a great distance?
Specifically, I think it's the people at this show. I do a lot of shows all around Europe and other, trade shows, shows like this, plus more club talks, things like that. This is the one show that really is for the fly tyers. And the level of knowledge of the people coming to visit the show, the interaction between the fly tyers, the networking is just very special here. Better than anywhere else.
That's great. I would have to agree. As a fly tying instructor, what kind of advice could you give a new tyer?
The best advice I think you can give them is there is no wrong way to tie a fly. Develop a technique that you can work with, a way of tying you can work with, and provided your fly will hit the water in one piece, that really is the essence of fly tying. If you can come up with a pattern that really works and catches a lot of fish, well, that's a bonus. But being able to master the basic techniques, get a system and a style that works for you, and put together something you're happy with. There's no need to say you've got to copy the great fly tyers of the world. And if you look around this room today, there's probably 80 tyers tying with 75 different styles.
That's a very good point. Now, I understand you are a competition angler.
Indeed. What
is that all about?
Well, basically because in England we don't have any wild fish. Everything's stocked.
Oh, okay.
With the exception of a few small rivers where there's still a wild population. But the big reservoirs where we fish, they stock them with rainbows and browns in about the 14, 16, 18 inch range. And people being what they are, we became competitive because there's enough fish there that everybody catches half a dozen fish every day, and it became a little tedious and boring just to go fishing for the sake of it. So we brought a competitive element into it, and it started off as a fun thing between clubs, and over the years it's progressed now, and it really is quite intense. Some teams are getting proper sponsorship.
Wow.
There was a club came down for a match at Grafham last year. 6 people in the team, 28 people came down, and their sponsor paid for everybody to fish for 2 days and stay in 2 nights in the hotel.
Wow.
So they do take it seriously.
It sounds like it.
I don't take it as seriously as that. I don't fish any competition which has money as a prize.
Oh, okay.
I only fish for the good competitions, which are, the glory of winning is more important than any prize money. And I fish several of those and really enjoy the competitive side.
All right, Chris, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. Another organization here at the Fly Tying Symposium is the Coastal Fly Anglers, and they partner with Casting for Recovery, so we'd like to talk to them about these two programs. Gentlemen, what is Casting for Recovery?
Casting for Recovery is a national program that takes women that are recovering from breast cancer and run them through a fly fishing program. And a surgeon, doctor, a woman, figured out that the movement of a fly rod was beneficial to the recovery of all the muscles and everything impacted during breast cancer. And it's quite revealing because there really are no programs for after the fact. Most of all the other programs are leading up to it. And so we took 14 women through the program in October and caught 24 fish. And at the end of the program, we, as a club, gave each woman a rod. We gathered through the year and we cleaned the rods up and restrung them, and everybody was quite appreciative.
So it sounds like that program was a real success between your two organizations. What was the program like for you to go through with the ladies?
What I found amazing was how I brought the club together to do a function like this. That when we first started it, I had no idea what kind of the response we're going to get from the members. We're going to get 14 members to come out on a Sunday to do this. And we've done 2 of them now, and it's been phenomenal, and the members have loved every bit of it. What's even amazing with the women is the fact that this weekend provides them to get together as a group, because when they were going through chemotherapy, they didn't have anybody to talk to. They only saw other women with breast cancer in doctor's offices. So this is the first opportunity they've had as a group to get together outside of a doctor's office. And so it really brings them together in a bond. So it's a phenomenal program, and we're really proud to be part of it.
And what is the Coastal Fly Anglers all about?
We're a large club in South Jersey. We meet once a month, and we're a teaching club. We spend a lot of time in the education of fly fishing. It's not a competitive organization. We have some great speakers every month that come from the top of the industry, and we even have international speakers come to our club. And it's an exciting organization to be involved in.
Excellent. Gentlemen, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
A lot of people come across from Europe to also help in the show and show people their tips and tricks. One of which is Theo Bakula.
Perfect.
Because as a Dutchman, we got to get this right, or you know. Theo, a couple questions. First of all, what is it about the show that just brings you across from Holland?
All those famous fly tyers I've met and seen and read those books of them from all over the world. You know, in Holland we have a lot of quite a lot of good fly tyers, but you met those nice people here like Bobby Popovich, Bob Clauser, Lefty Gray, George, Gary Borger. That's why I'm interested in it, and spread out my things with all those people, show my secrets and learn from them.
Okay, great.
And it's a place with nice people, so I love it here. That's why I'm already for 17 times here.
Wow,
17.
That's been already. Okay, the next question. Explain about the gold helmet.
Oh man, it's about 20 years ago, I guess. Yeah. Then I found out those gold bead flies, right. Spread them around over the world, but to give them an introduction to the people, I painted my face gold, and with the golden swimming cap and stuff like that, and I'm tying all day with my gold bead flies. But I did use car spray to spread my face gold, and I couldn't get rid of it, so the big bumps on my face, it was infection, so I have a small surgery to cut it open to get all the rubbish out. That's how it started with gold bead flies.
And if you had one thing to say to a beginning fly tyer coming to you at the table, what's some of the advice you would give them?
To a young kid who comes here on a show, or now what we shall do is, and that is I think what every fly fisherman should do and fly tyer should do, pick up your grandson and with a couple of friends of them, bring him in your house and show them how to tie some flies, and they are creative. They like to do things like that. They have little friends too, and in no time you have a big bunch of young kids. Teach them, fish with them, spend some time for them. It's so worth it.
Right.
You see, and that's what I'm doing in Holland too.
Cool.
In a way like that.
Okay, great. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you, Theo.
You're very welcome. Okay, man.
So as you can see, there's a lot that the show can offer. Someone coming in to learn how to tie some of these different flies.
Absolutely.
And again, it's happening where?
Right here in the Garden State.
In the Garden State. So again, whether or not you're kayaking, you hunt, you fish, okay, New Jersey has it for you, whether it's outside or inside in a venue like this.
That's right. To find out more information about the International Fly Tying Symposium or the Fly Fishing Show, you can check out their website, flyfishingshow.com. To learn more about our book and the services Real Simple Fly Fishing can offer you, check out our website, realsimpleflyfishing.com. To learn more about the television show Garden State Adventures, check out the website gardenstateadventures.com. For Garden State Adventures and Real Simple Fly Fishing, I'm Andrea Vanbenshoten.
And I'm Glenn Vanbenshoten, saying just get out there and check out all that the Garden State has to offer for the outdoor enthusiast. Take care.
Bye-bye.